possession you have is your what? Influence. Don't let the devil strip you of your influence. That's the reason it's so important what you do and how you do and where you do what you do. Somebody the other day said, well, smoking said touch, it may not be. No more you doing for the Lord, he's probably not staying in your life. Would be in mine. I don't believe I'd be very much influence for the Lord if I'd reach up here right now, light one and say, what do you think of this? Influence. It's a little difficult for daddy to blow smoke in his teenage boy's face and say, son, don't get on that marijuana. It's already been proven tobacco hurts worse than marijuana. It's amazing today how folks trying to figure out how bad is bad and how dirty is dirty. My goodness, it doesn't help you. Don't use it. Have to go off to school to learn how bad is, how bad gets. If it's not good for you, keep the garbage out of you. But if I run off and go to school to learn that. Influence. Oh, Lot had a lot of influence when he was faithful to God, when he was faithful with Abraham, and when they were building altars to God. But old Lot got his feelings hurt and told Brother Abraham, I'm going to move my leather down at first stop. He must have got mad. He thought he wanted milk out of the daughters to sing at the church, and Abraham wouldn't let him. And he said, I'm going to move, I want to get out of here. And he moved down to Sodom and Gomorrah and lost everything he had. Included influence. Can you imagine what it must do to a man to lose his influence? Can you imagine what it did to Lot to lose his influence? How do you expect some lazy, no-good, hell-bound daddy to have a church influence on his son and daughter when he says, go to Sunday school and church with your mama instead of being a man like he ought to be and get the lead out and get the Lord in it? Go to that church and set an example for God with those family and that children. You expect those children to respect you and live. What kind of influence a daddy gonna have at home when the children hear him cursing the mother? When the children hear him blaspheming the church? What kind of influence? What kind of influence you young girls think you're gonna have with your next date when you're sold out your purity and your virtue? Influence. I remember back in the locker room, I remember how the athletes used to talk about the cheap girls. And I remember how the names of girls used to be dropped all around the dressing room and the locker room. And sure, the girl might be popular with that crowd. What about your influence? Possession you can have is your influence. That's reading on Sunday night, regardless of how you feel. Unless you're bedridden by doctor's orders, I don't care how many exams your children have the next day in school. When it comes dark on Sunday night, your neighbors ought to see your lights off because you're in the house of God. Influence. Influence. Don't tell me your children have to study on Sunday night because they're going to know in their future that their studies were more important than God. Don't you come belly aching to me a preacher and say, whatever happened to my children? I'll tell you what happened, Mama. They turned out just like you. A hypocrite. Influence. Brother, I tell you, when you put your hand on the plow, don't look back.